Hi, I'm Jason Gorber for ThatShelf.com, and we're here to look at the latest box set from Bob Dylan. So, Bob Dylan, legend, Nobel Prize winner, once described as the voice of a generation. He completely denied that, but nonetheless, incredible songwriter, incredible musician. Some people don't necessarily think of him as an incredible singer, but I certainly do. Really remarkable individual. This is one of his latest releases, as part of the Bootleg series. So this is volume 17. One of the remarkable things that has happened over the years, obviously it's 17 volumes, is that did an incredibly great job of creating archival releases, both digital and analog, bunch of vinyl releases, a bunch of CD-only releases, some expanded, some limited edition, that basically sort of dive into some of the recording processes. Now, it's incredibly overwhelming. I have so many of these recordings that really I've listened to only a couple times, but I know over the years I plan on and will continue to revisit and sort of dive in deeper and deeper. This is the limited edition version of volume 17, the vinyl release only available from Dylan's website. Again, the digital versions tend to have all the songs, and then they release a vinyl version that only has a few. We have other videos on this channel that have sort of articulated some of that. But this one in particular, they did these, which I really love that they do. They do these limited edition versions, so you can at least, if you're crazy enough to actually want all the stuff on vinyl, you can actually get it on vinyl. So I thought we'd actually crack open and see what's inside. Very straightforward. Finally got this after months and months of waiting. Had to order it through the States because it would not actually ship to Canada. So it arrived today, so I finally get a chance to actually listen to this after, as I said, months and months of waiting. So if I open this carefully, again, I still gotta find some sort of thing to actually protect on the outside, but for now I'll just keep the cellophane. Straight up box set, regular normal box, nothing specific. Made in Czech Republic. My number is 4223. I think there was 5,000 of these made. But I got some full stamping on here. And this is what you get with the box. Real music, sort of replications of the master tapes on the side. Quite lovely. And same thing on this side. So what we have here, we have a book. Soft covered, but nonetheless shows. And it shows anybody who sort of knows that image, but particularly this image, excuse me, sort of reiterates what is here as the subtitle of this collection. This is the Bob Dylan Fragments Time Out of Mind Sessions, 1996-1997. This is basically Dylan working with Dan Lanois and putting together a whole bunch of stuff that they did. As it says right here on the front page, in 1996-1997, Bob Dylan wrote 11 of the most profound and poetic laments in the American songbook, full of heartache and what Jack Kerouac called the forlorn rags of growing old. These songs grew to become Time Out of Mind, the album that proved Dylan continued cultural relevance and cemented his place as our greatest living songwriter. Time Out of Mind's amazing. Incredible record. So beautiful. So basically, these are the original sessions, some of the experiments, some of the things that I actually missed out on from being part of the final record. And you can see in this book, sort of dives into the story, unafraid to actually have words. I mean, we looked at the release of Dark Side of the Moon not that long ago, and the band can't get it together enough to actually have essays. But yeah, sort of fully telling the story here, and gives an indication of what's actually on here, including a full breakdown of what's on these records. Sorry. On each LP, giving an indication of what's here. So, nice book. We'll tell the story as much as we want it to. And inside here, we have a series of gatefolds. Number of records inside here. All look, I mean, again, I haven't even seen this. This is the first time I'm seeing it. Very, the Time Out of Mind aesthetic, obviously. through the use of font. This is actually really lovely. It's matte on top, and it's actually gloss where the text in the photo is. So, and each of these sort of stands out as a gatefold. I see no issues whatsoever with the pressing. It's not the hardest or thickest of cardboard, but it looks like decent tip-on jackets, or at least printed jackets. Really elegantly produced. Each record itself comes in a paper sleeve. That's a bit frustrating. It'd be nice if it were poly-lined, but the records themselves, yes, there's a bit of dust on them, but they look pretty clean. They'll certainly go through my degritter and do the trick that way, but I don't see any obvious marks or issues with that. The old school Columbia logo. And you can see, like this, again, stuff going back to the 20s, this kind of aesthetic on Columbia. Obviously the label, now owned by Sony, that Dylan has been a part of since the 60s. Here we go. With a breakdown, Bob Dylan, Dana Lanois, Bucky Baxter, Duke Robillard, and a whole bunch of other people. All tracks previously released as Time Out of Mind, remix by Maria. So this is the remix of the Time Out of Mind records, sort of the pre-mix, as it were, and getting a chance to actually dive into that way. And then we have here outtakes and alternates. So this is the 2022 remix, which in some ways is a premix. This is the alternates and outtakes. Again, really beautiful. Some of it glossy, some of it not. Showing off master tape reels. Fantastic photo. Amazing work. And once again, inside, really lovely sleeves. These will be, it's beautifully done. I would have liked if they were poly-lined. These were going to be replaced with poly-lined sleeves, which isn't a problem. But nonetheless, it looks like everything's in good shape. So there we are, Bob Dylan Fragments. That's number 1. This is number 2. Number 3, more outtakes and alternates. And an alternate looking cover with a harmonica on the back. And look at that. Mr. Zimmerman in front of a drum kit. Amazing. All kinds of stuff. Just reading off here, Lovesick, Dirt Road Blues, Can't Wait, version 2. Different takes, different versions, all sort of here. So you can actually hear, sort of like a documentary, how it's going. And again, you can see on the inside, it actually says a little bit here, hard to read here, but up here it actually has fragments in that gloss, and the rest of it matte. Really, really beautiful design. Super happy about it. Here's number 4. This is the live stuff from this tour, mid-90s. Now, I saw one of these tours. It would have been late 90s. So some of the recordings, not the best time I saw Dylan, but I know around this era, the whole thing about seeing Dylan live is that either is the best show you've ever seen in your life, or you just know that it wasn't the best one for that night, but it could be. It's frustrating. If he was always terrible, it would be one thing. But certainly for this, I know that around this time he was super energized and absolutely wanting to make the most of it, so I cannot wait to listen to these. You can see, really stunning presentation. And then the last one, number 5, the previously released fragments. So these are the Teatro sessions, the Criteria Studio sessions, and a bunch of live tracks. So I believe these are stuff from other bootleg, other deluxe editions, etc. But nonetheless here included for sort of completeness sake, and released now on vinyl, which is fantastic. Again, if you pull it out, yet another Columbia design. And just to look at the records, just to be random, yeah, the pressing looks fantastic. No issues, no fingerprints, nice and clean. Something definitely to dive into and to cherish. This is This is very much something that I'm looking forward to diving into reading over the next few months. I want to take my time with this one, sort of listen to it. Yes, listen to it in order, as it were. Yes, obviously, I could have gone the digital route. Would have been much less expensive, much less of a pain in the ass. The fact that I had to do cross-border shopping to actually make this work is a bit of a schlep, but you know, this simply becomes part of a central part of my collection. This joins the the 16 other sets that I have that actually tells the story, let alone all the other Dylan releases, that tells the story of this remarkable individual. Everything looks exactly what I would hope for. Good, solid presentation in terms of the look and feel. The vinyl looks really good, and it looks like we might actually have something well worth cherishing for years to come. So here we are, the fragments of fragments. Our look at it for thatshelf.com. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have a chance to listen to it, let me know in the comments what you think about this particular release, what you think about Dylan in general. This may or may not be the last of the Bootleg series, and if so, it truly is one of the more remarkable things that's done in terms of deluxe editions out of any artist. It's an incredible anthology. There's still a couple more things that are worthy of being done in such a robust feature. But, you know, over the lifetime of this Bootleg series, you've actually seen the entire music industry shift about what people are doing in terms of the desire for physical media. So this is definitely... We've seen during this period a complete shift in quite radical ways. So the fact that I'm still able to hold on to this, that this is still being done, that this story is still being told, for me is completely remarkable. Once again, for thatshelf.com, I'm Jason Gorba. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next video. All the best. Take care.